I have no idea why this is called berry red. This is a bright red. I wish they made this in like 17 colors because I would get all of them. I've seen the Skims ribbed pajama set and I said there's no way I'm spending that amount of money on this. What I will give this shirt is the fact that these are the only cut pads that have never bothered me. If you've been anywhere on the internet recently, you've probably noticed that Target just dropped a bunch of activewear in these bright pinks and pastels, very girly cottagecore looks. And that personally just doesn't really resonate with my style. Unfortunately, a lot of those colors and designs really just don't work well for my skin tone. I've spent years collecting pieces from Target, and I also have recently restocked quite a few things. I'm going to try on all of these pieces and tell you what I think about them, what I like, what I don't. And I've got quite a few pieces to get through. I've got some color comparisons as well, both with the current Target activewear and with previous season's colors. The first line by Target that I'm going to cover is the Wild Fable brand. This is typically sold in their junior section, but I do buy a lot of stuff from there. I find that it's really good activewear for things like Pilates, where you don't need major sweat wicking capabilities and you feel like you're still able to be active and move around in it. I will say that if you're using it regularly for something like Pilates where you're doing a lot of movement, then typically it can start to bend out of shape. I do try to take pretty good care of my pieces, and I have had quite a few of the Wild Fable items for the past several years. The first item I've got from the Wild Fable collection is their Butterbliss Camisole. Now, it was really highly rated online, but I'm not super pleased with the cut and fit of the fabric. I got this in a size small, and I just find that the fit isn't super great. I don't like where the neckline hits, and I do find that it's a little bit shorter than I would like. I'm already a short torso girly, so the fact that it's a little short on me means that for someone with a longer torso, it's probably going to be more like a cropped fit. I was really excited about this because the material is pretty thick and luxurious. But just because of the fit, I probably won't be getting more. My preference is the Walmart camisoles for just a good basic tank from the No Boundaries line. So if I had to choose between the two, I would go with the one from Walmart. This is only $8, and the actual quality of the material is very well made. It does have adjustable straps. It has a scoop neck, and in the back, it has a low cut that's pretty straight across. Unfortunately, I don't like the way it shows off my bra. The cut just isn't perfect. I have a lot of pieces from the Butterbliss collection, and I haven't noticed a lot of pilling, but I will say in this camisole, which I've only worn and washed a couple of times, I am already getting some pilling. Next up from the Wild Fable line is the Butterbliss biker short. Unfortunately, they recently changed the materials in a lot of the Butterbliss clothing items, ranging from their leggings to their flared pants and also in their biker shorts. And recently, some of their items have transitioned to a thicker, more dense material that feels almost more performance sleek. Unfortunately, it almost feels cheaper. It feels like something I could get off of Amazon. They are still a high rise. These ones that I'm showing you are actually an older version. I ended up returning the newer ones, but they are still a high rise on both the new and the old version. And on the old version, they have a cross waist, which I actually really like the way they sit and the way they feel. It was the perfect length for a nice biker short for my Pilates workouts, but they've recently shortened the inseam and now it's a 3.5 inch. Unfortunately, that's just too short for me. If I'm doing Pilates and I have to be doing all sorts of movements, I want a short that's just not going to ride up on me. And the new ones do that. So I did return those and I probably wouldn't recommend them. My hope is really that they return to this longer inseam, and whether or not they keep the cross waist, I don't really care, but I would like to see them bring back the long inseam. The fabric is a polyester blend, and the waist on both the old and the new styles are are a double thickness waistband, which does help with some compression. I have gained a little bit of weight since I wore these last, and they do tend to give me a camel toe. Unfortunately, because the fabric is a little bit on the thinner side, it can show cellulite. So that is just something to keep in mind, that it's not super cellulite friendly. So I probably wouldn't recommend this short anymore unless they brought back the longer inseam. Next up, we've got the Wild Fable flared leggings, and this is in berry red. I have no idea why this is called berry red. This is a bright red. I will throw up a couple of color comparisons just so you can see. I've been buying these leggings for maybe 3 or 4 years. I have them in several colors, and the old berry red I liked a lot more. This is just a little too bright for me. The material has definitely changed. This is the new material and is much more sleek and perhaps a touch thinner. I honestly think that these are a little bit more prone to pilling than their previous design. They offer these leggings in both recycled and non-recycled versions. The colors in the recycled versions still feel like the traditional yoga pant material. These are in a size small, and I prefer to size up into a medium in these leggings for a couple of reasons. The first being because I'm 5'9", in the size small, it is a little short. And these leggings do not come in a tall, short, and regular length. It only comes in one length. And so it's a little bit limiting. While I find that the size small shapes me a lot more and provides a little bit more lift, I run into issues with the front seam. And once again, I get a camel toe in it. In the mediums, I don't ever get a camel toe. I wear these all the time to my Leggings classes, and I really enjoy them. If I want to throw something on that is as comfortable as a sweatpant, but look way better, then this is what I wear. And that's probably why I have these in 4 or 5 colors. Even though I mentioned that the material is thinner, I never have an issue with it being see-through. The knit is still thick enough that even if I'm wearing colored underwear, you can't see through it, and they're pretty squat proof. These pants are a polyester spandex blend, just like the rest of the line. There is a double thickness waistband, which does help with some compression. I do find that whether it be in the small or the medium, it is still pretty flattering to the glute area, even though it doesn't offer any kind of glute contour. I unfortunately just feel like it's a little too short. Initially, there weren't many companies that were coming out with options for longer length flared leggings. But now that there are, I wish Target would get behind it. This is a staple item at Target. I've probably purchased the same designs from them in various colors over the past 3 or 4 years. So even though they cycle through their colors, it seems to be a staple that's not really going anywhere. And I think that's for good reason. These feel like very high quality pants. They feel very well made. I've never had an issue with the stitching coming apart. There are not any pockets. If you want a yoga pant with a pocket, All in Motion makes a couple of designs that are more of a performance gym material with pockets. Overall, I feel like the material is a little bit thicker than the biker shorts and provides light to medium cellulite coverage. Inseam length is 31 3/4 inches, but I do feel like some of the colors maybe have a tighter knit and are a little bit shorter than other colors. Like definitely the red is shorter than the black. Overall, really great budget legging, but I'd really like to see it in more than one inseam. Alrighty, I had to throw on a sweater because I couldn't figure out why it was cold. And then I looked at the temperature and it was 65 in here. So there you go. All right, next item is once again from the Wild Fable line. So these are my go-to leggings for my Pilates and my Leggings classes every week. They're just so comfortable and there's minimal sweat wicking. I could probably wear these to the gym, but I do like to have a little bit more sleek, high performance material just because I find I do get really sweaty at the gym, and you can start to see like crotch sled and things like that. Whereas in my Leggings class, the lights are dark. So if I get super sweaty that day, you can't see anything. So that is something to be aware of. If you are a really sweaty girl, these might not be the best for you, especially in the lighter colors. But as far as a budget legging goes, these are $20. They are so soft, so smooth, and I do find it really annoying. As a total sidebar, I do not want to use the words buttery soft to describe anything, because I feel like that descriptor is just so overused. I will say it in this video because the actual pant legging is called Butterbliss. I'm going to start calling it avocado oil smooth. But very soft material, double thickness waistband. Once again, there's no contouring around the seams or anything like that, but I do find the way it hugs me is very flattering. I would say light to medium cellulite coverage. I have these in a couple of different colors, and I'll throw up the color comparisons as well. Really no issue with cellulite. I do size up in these leggings because I find that the front seam in these leggings will also cut into me in the small and cause a pretty bad camel toe. I don't get a huge issue with it in the medium, but in the lighter colors, it can be a little bit more obvious. One thing to be aware of is that this Butterbliss material collects pet fur, especially in the darker colors. By far, I find that the full-length leggings collect it the worst. So they're covered in lint, and I don't know what to do about that. It is a 27-inch inseam, light to medium compression. I'd probably go for a longer inseam if I wasn't wearing long socks. Overall, just a great basic legging, and I really have no complaints. I would probably size up to a medium in these though, especially if camel toe is something that you struggle with. In general, I just find that sizing up in the Butterbliss bottoms worked out way better for me than sizing down. Alrighty, so the final item I've got from the Butterbliss line is the full zip jacket. I've had such trouble finding jackets that have that true BBL fit that actually hug me in all areas and look snatched. And this one, oh my God, I wish they made this in like 17 colors because I would get all of them. It is true to size. It is a snug fit. If you do not want that snatched look and you want something that's a little looser, I would size up. But since I prefer that look, I stay true to size and I have a size small. Now, it is the same brushed material as everything else. It does not have thumb holes, and I actually like that. The arm length is perfect for me. I do like thumb holes a lot of the times, but it is nice having a couple options without thumb holes. I typically wear this as a warm-up to my Leggings or Pilates class. And I've got this in 3 colors: white, this lighter pink, and also in black. I sweat a lot, and I don't find this to be the most moisture wicking material in the entire world. It is pretty good for light to medium activity. I would probably run in the black, but I wouldn't run in any of the lighter colors just because I would get armpit stains. Both the outside and the inside material are pretty similar. The inside is a little bit more smooth and sleek than the outside, which is more of that brushed material. It's just so soft, like a second skin. And there is no zipper garage in this one. And for a lot of jackets, that would be a problem for me. But it does not cut into my knit, and it's not scratchy at all. Even if I leave it just a little bit undone, these edges don't ever cut into me. But if a zipper garage is super important to you, then maybe go for a different jacket. I know that people are mixed about whether or not they want pockets in their jacket, but I'll tell you what, because there aren't any pockets, it just goes and snatches you in and looks so good. So I can absolutely wear a tank top or something underneath the jacket. But typically what I go for is just a sports bra and then wear this jacket during my warm up and take it off. I do feel like it's going to get stretched out over time, and that's just typical with this Butterbliss material. I would say I can get about 3-4 years out of it before it starts to stretch out. Whereas with something like my Lululemon Define jacket, I've had it for between 7 and 10 years and it still has pretty much all of its elasticity. But I think that's also partially to do with difference in price point. I love this jacket. This is my favorite jacket. I wish they would come out with them in all the colors. I love a high neckline. I feel like Catwoman, and I can't recommend it enough. Once again, stay true to size unless you want a little bit of a looser fit, and then I would size up. Okay, I almost forgot, but I do have one more from Wild Fable, and this is their slim fit hoodie, and it is so stinking cute. This is more loungewear rather than performance material. It does have a slightly cropped fit, but if I am wearing a high-waisted legging, then I'm completely covered. It is a cotton modal spandex blend, and it's just super soft, super stretchy, and super flattering fit. Honestly, mostly I'll pair it with a pair of the Butterbliss flare leggings before I go out and wear that as a cute and functional piece. Recently, I've tried to find more items that feel like loungewear, but that I can throw on and go out and run errands in, and I look super cute. This is just one of those pieces where it fits really well. The sleeve length is perfect. Sometimes I struggle with finding a good length for me because I do have longer arms. A lot of times they'll hit right above the wrist area, but that's not the case with this one. So just great basic piece. I would say true to size. If you want a little less of that slim fit, once again, you can always size up. If you want a looser fit, but definitely true to size and very flattering. Now, I've got one set from JoyLab. I got this outfit for a Legree class and have worn it a few times. I'm not sure if they're a Target brand, but out of all of the activewear that's sold at Target, JoyLab always seems to be mid to high end prices, and the material itself is awesome. I wish I could live in this, but there's a big but. This top is the JoyLab seamless top, and it is absolutely not made for larger cup sizes. When I first got it, I thought because of the stitching here across the underbust, that was going to offer some compression. Unfortunately, when you turn it inside out, it is just the seam where the cup pads are sewn, and there's no underbust compression. So when I am wearing this and working out, start up here and then slowly make their way down, which is not the most attractive, nor does it make me feel supported, which is a little unfortunate because the line is right there and my boobs usually end up somewhere down there. What I will give this shirt is the fact that these are the only cup pads that have never bothered me. If you know me, you know that I absolutely hate cup pads. I don't understand why we can't just make molded cup pads or add a nipple protective layer. Cup pads always feel so cheap. They always move up and down, and it's just an absolute nightmare. So I really try to avoid cup pads when I can. But these I actually thought were sewn in and molded. They're so soft. They've never flipped on me or gotten bunched up, and I wash them with the cup pads in, and they've never moved around. Whatever they're doing with the cup pads is great. The material is modal, nylon, and spandex. The outside is just like a ribbed performance material, very much like a ribbed tank top, but maybe a little bit extra sweat wicking in there. Somehow the material is very thin, but also compressive enough to hold you in. From what I've seen in the store and now owning this piece, I think that the quality of the materials and the sewing techniques are really good for $30 or $40, I know that I have a piece that's going to hold up for the next several years without any issue. The only problem is that this is not made for a large cup size at all. Will I still wear it in a dark workout room? Absolutely, but only a dark workout room. You also have snap closures that are real snaps, thank God. There's no reason. I'm not going to be exposing that much, so I leave it snapped up. It's already busty enough as is. But if you want to show off your girlies a little bit more, then unsnap, snap away, whatever you want to do. All right, to go with the Henley top, I've got the JoyLab seamless leggings in a size small in black, which of course is this kind of faded black look, which is actually really nice. I like that. And I love that on these leggings, you have a very faint stitched in JL in the back, but otherwise no branding. You really wouldn't be able to tell. I just hate big, giant branding. I wish people would stop doing it. There is a 3-tiered waistband. The drawstring is basically differentiated 3 different levels of compression. So it does really snatch you in. And even though there is not a curved glute seam, it's just straight across in both the front and the back. I do find that it's very flattering on the glutes. It's just a really nice, good quality legging. And then the drawstring has a molded tip to cover the end, so there's not going to be any fraying. The inseam is 23 inches, so it is more of a cropped length, but you do get a lot of stretch in the fabric. So you're able to pull it down a little bit more. And then right around the bottom of the pant, there is a double thickness reinforced cuff. And I feel like it just helps keep everything in place. I really like that little added detail. These leggings were originally $35. They're now on sale for just under $30. And I'll tell you what, JoyLab makes such good quality clothing. Now, after purchasing a couple of activewear pieces from Amazon, which I'm going to do a review on soon, I'm really impressed with the quality of JoyLab because I've gotten a couple of other $35 leggings and they were just not very good. But the attention to detail, the quality of stitching, even though I do have some issues with the sports bra, I have no complaints about this. Hugs in all of the right places, thoughtful stitching, thoughtful design. And I'm probably now, after getting this, going to try a couple more JoyLab pieces. Unfortunately, right now, a lot of their colors are more pinks and pastels, and that's just not something I usually go for. So I'm going to keep my eye out for when they get some more Pilates pieces and more like dark earthy tones. Moving on to the All in Motion collection by Target, which is their high performance material, which is typically really well made. Overall, I've been very impressed. I bought a number of their things throughout the years and it's held up super well. So the first item I've got here is a classic. They have it in stock pretty much every year. I bought this jacket 5 or 6 years ago. It's something they keep in stock as one of their staple pieces, the All in Motion full zip jacket. It is a full-length jacket, short torso, long torso. It's probably going to hit you right at the hip crease. It is a full zip high neckline. It's a brushed high-performance material, so very smooth and soft, thin to medium weight. Over the years, it's held up really well. I haven't noticed it stretch out or anything like that. The stitching is very solid. And I tried on a more recent piece and it fits exactly the same like the previous styles. So it doesn't seem like they've made any modifications to the piece. It seems like a tried and true jacket. At the top here, we've got a zipper garage, so there's no rubbing. And there are thumb holes on these full length sleeves, so they are a little bit longer to cover your hands. I know some of these styles of jackets have a fold over piece that will keep your hands warm, which personally I don't think is necessary. This jacket doesn't have that. We do have 2 zip pockets in the front with a strong zipper tab that has held up well throughout the years. Some of these little dangly zippers don't hold up well. I've been very impressed with the quality of it. And I can fit my whole iPhone in one of these pockets. There are no inner or hidden pockets, but right around the shoulder area in the front, you do have a little bit of vanity stitching to help structure the jacket. And then you have some vanity stitching that comes down the sides, both in the front and the back. This jacket isn't an extra small, and it still fits loose on me. So if you're looking for a fitted, Define, Lululemon, BBL jacket, you are not going to find it here. I do still think it's a really sturdy jacket. I do wear it pretty frequently just because it's something I can throw on, but it's not my favorite, and I wish that they made it in a more fitted fashion. More recently, they made a quarter zip version of this, which I got, but for some reason they stopped selling it. And I wear that jacket every day to work, and I absolutely love it. So I do wish they would bring that one back because it's far more fitted in the bodice and just looks way better. I do wish they would update the design just a little bit. If I'm sizing down to an extra small and it's still a little loose, then someone who's a true extra small is going to be kind of out of luck because they can't size down. I wish they would either extend the size range a little bit or maybe update the design to more modern standards of people preferring more of that BBL type jacket. Since it's got that brushed material, I do find that it does collect pet fur, but not as badly as something like the Butterbliss fabric. Every once in a while, I'll notice a dog hair on my jacket or something like that. But especially in the gray, the marl of the fabric, it's really not super obvious, but it would probably be more obvious in something like the black. I've got this next jacket from All in Motion, and it is very similar to the full zip jacket. This one is also a full zip called the Dynamic Flex jacket. Something I mentioned about the last one is that I wish it was more fitted, and I think this may be an answer to that. So definitely it's more fitted in the waist. It has a curved seam that comes in. It is a high hip length. Unlike the other one, which is full hip length, I do think for some people who have a longer torso, this could be more of a cropped fit. So just keep that in mind. The material on this one feels about the same as the other, perhaps a little bit thinner. High performance brushed material. This one maybe has a little bit more stretch and a little bit less warmth. On the back, you have a curved seam, very similar. I think they're probably going for that defined jacket type thing because it has that curved seam, but it is sewn together, so it's not like there's an air vent there. Once again, you have a zipper garage so that nothing rubs against your neck. And we've also got thumb holes. I do like the design of this a little bit more than the other jacket. I think that this probably also helps reinforce the area because there's less pressure on your actual thumb. So on the other one, your thumb is actually butting up against the seam. And with this design, your thumb, when it goes through, is just hitting soft fabric and isn't hitting a seam, so it doesn't rub as much. There is a rather long wrist cuff. I think that's a good look. I don't necessarily have a huge preference, providing that the wrist cuff doesn't start to cinch down too much or dig into me, and I don't find that this is the case here. In the front, you've also got 2 pockets. I really like what All in Motion does with their zippers. I reviewed the Freely full-length jacket, which is similar in fit to some of these jackets in my previous video. And something that I noticed was that there were just these little dangly pull tabs on the front zipper. and I can just tell that's not going to hold up over time. So unlike that, this one's got a really sturdy zip. Once again, I can fit my whole iPhone in it. I really like the inside. The inside pocket is almost like a mesh basketball short material, for lack of better word. It's still stretchy, but you just have a little bit more ventilation. I would question how long this would hold up compared to the rest of the jacket, but I do think overall it'll hold up pretty well, just like my other all-in-motion jacket. And then you do have vanity seams right here at the front of the shoulder to add some structure and design. Overall, I like this jacket a little bit more than the other one, and I would like to see them come out with more colors. It is still not quite slim enough fit for me. Just in the waist area, I wish it would come in even more. Once again, in this jacket, I sized down to an extra small, and it's still not quite enough of a BBL fit for me. I really prefer to have my jackets just suck me in, and this doesn't quite hit the mark there. I think that you would probably want to size down if you are looking for that slimmer fit. But if not, true to size, but maybe a little bit on the looser side. All right, this next pair of leggings is the women's everyday soft crossover flare leggings. These leggings I got to match the full zip jacket. The navy in the jacket and the navy in these leggings are just a touch off, so they don't quite match. The fact that there is that color discrepancy bothers me, but I'm also aware that the material is a slightly different composition, so that could be why. I got these leggings in a size small. They are also a full-length legging. I don't know that I would say it's an ultra high rise. I feel like it's just a regular high rise, which is totally fine. The length on these flare leggings is a 31 1/4 inch inseam. So they're actually shorter than the Butterbliss leggings, and unfortunately they don't come in more than one inseam. So that's really my biggest gripe with these leggings, is that with the flare leggings, I just don't think it's really very possible to satisfy people of all different heights. These do have a front seam. I don't find that they give me a huge camel toe issue, but very minimally on certain occasions. I wear them to the gym pretty regularly, and I don't think they cut in enough for me to really be bothered by it. On the back, we do have the all-in-motion tonal branding. So far, this has held up pretty well. In the past, I have had some issue with brands who do try to use the silicone branding, but this one doesn't seem to be peeling off. We've got a small triangle crotch gusset that is made with a cotton spandex blend, and I'm glad they did that because it helps with moisture wicking. The material on these leggings feels like a thin second skin. I love it because I feel like I'm not wearing anything, but it's pretty moisture wicking, and I don't have any issues in the gym lifting. Like, you don't really see any crotch sweat, and I think that could be due to the secondary cotton lining added in the crotch gut. For a legging that doesn't have any kind of glute sculpting, and for having a flat across seam, I feel like it's pretty flattering. Unfortunately, because of the thinness of the material, it is more prone to showing cellulite, but if that's not something that you struggle with, then this could be a very flattering look for you. The material still feels pretty brushed, but I don't find that it collects a lot of pet hair, which is great for me, especially because I'm able to wear it in a dark color and not collect a lot of pet fur. Of course, you have the double thickness waistband, which helps with a little bit of compression, but the overall compression level on these leggings is probably a light to a medium. Hands down, my favorite piece of this season from Target is the all-in-motion Fair Isle full zip jacket. This looks like a long underwear piece, but I'll be honest, I just wear it to the gym. I got the matching full zip jacket and leggings, and the jacket itself is made of a thick almost like thermal underwear material. The fabric is made of polyester, viscose, nylon, and spandex. So it's a blend of quite a few things, but the material itself is very dense. So this is going to be something that you wear in the winter time and you're not going to be able to wear in the summer. But the fabric itself is just so dang cute. It says ski, 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 ski. And that's fun. It's in light pink and maroon. What I really like is when it stretches out, it shows the maroon color underneath. It's this knitted, slightly ribbed material. Of course, you have a really thick zipper garage, great quality zipper. And you've got 2 front pockets that have this flush seam. When it's zipped up, you would have no idea that there are pockets there aside from this little zipper. Having that going along the actual seam line is a really genius piece of design. And then you've got full length, really good length on the arms. And then there's also thumb holes here, which are similar to the first full zip all in motion jacket. It's just really a cutout and that's about it. Nothing fancy there. I wear this to the gym, but it is a little heavy. So I tend to take it off after I've gotten warmed up. I have not had any stitching issues. It's a really durable piece. And I spent $35 on this. And this is probably the best quality piece of clothing I have purchased at Target thus far. This I sized down into an extra small for that extra snatched BBL fit. And I just love the way it hugs my waist and it's just so flattering. I would love to see Target make some more jackets, at least in this style of design, because I don't know that I would have purchased this type of jacket if it wasn't for the fit. I branched out. I thought I would go a little crazy with the pattern and design, and I'm glad I did. To match the jacket, I've got the all-in-motion seamless high-rise leggings, and I kept true to size in these in a size small. Now, it says seamless. That means there's no seam on the outside of the leg, but there is a middle seam going down the front of the crotch. This hasn't given me any issues out of all of the front seam leggings that I've tried from Target. I would say these probably give me the least issue. I do wear this in the gym and I can wear it throughout my whole workout. I don't feel like I get overheated, but probably in the summer, that's going to be a different story. It's a double thickness waistband with 2 tiers. So there's more of a chunkier knit up here, and then it goes into a thinner, more compressive knit. I do feel like it hugs the waist really well. I do think it's flattering overall, but I will say I do get a little bit of compression in the glutes. I don't think I get a pancake butt per se. It makes my butt look a little bit smaller, but that's not necessarily a problem. I think it still outlines it really well, but it does compress it just a little bit. The knit is about the same throughout, and then there's just a short double thickness band at the bottom. With the pants though, I am having some unraveling issues down the back seam and in the crotch gusset. These are really the only pair of pants that I've had from Target that have done this. I don't know if anyone else has had this issue. That is kind of a bummer because these leggings were $35 versus most of their other leggings, which are at a $30, $20 price point that don't have any issues unraveling. The inseam length is 25.5 inches, but I do find that I'm able to pull it down pretty close to my ankle, so it feels like a full-length legging. And last but not least, I'm going to go over just a couple of quick loungewear pieces that I've been loving lately. I've got 2 loungewear sets from, I don't know if you pronounce it Auden or Auden. I've got the fleece shorts. These are a 3-inch inseam, and I don't mind that because they don't roll up. They're made of a cotton polyester spandex blend, so very comfortable. They've got a thick drawstring and feel very sturdy. I find that I have a hard time finding a lightweight fleece that still feels like it's going to keep me warm enough. Most fleeces are either so lightweight that they feel paper thin and aren't going to keep me warm because I tend to run cold. or they're so thick that they're more of a winter piece. These I really like. I've been wearing them a lot on days that aren't super cold. And last but not least is the Auden ribbed pajama set. I debated about throwing this in here, but I just decided I had to talk about it. I've seen the Skims ribbed pajama set, and I said, there's no way I'm spending that amount of money on this. And Target just did it, and they did it right. This thing is so cozy. The shirt has a nice little white detail outline around the edges. Very well made. It is on the thinner side, but it's still pretty warm. I haven't been wearing it because it is a little too thin for me right now, but I'm sure I'll wear it more once it gets a little bit warmer. The shirt itself is really flattering. It's got a front pocket, and then the pants are a high-waisted, full-length pant with just a little bit of cuffed detail around the bottom. The only issue I have is that the pants are just not long enough for me. I either have to pull the waistband down or be okay with them being a little bit shorter. And then they've also got front pockets. I feel like they're really flattering in the glute area, which most pajamas just don't really have any shape to them. I'm a big fan of this. It is a rayon and spandex blend. Overall, I've got to say that these are my new favorite pair of pajama pants. I just wish, much in like many of the other Target clothing, that they were a little bit more friendly to various inseams. I think we've seen Target expand more recently into broader sizing ranges, and I just wish that they would do the same for the inseams. All right, so that is all of the Target activewear I have. I hope you found some new pieces that you wanted to try out, or maybe I answered some questions for you regarding the quality of the clothing. They're a really solid, affordable brand, and I really like the fact that they are an in-person store. I can actually go in, try the pieces on, which is my preferred way of shopping. I wouldn't say Target is my hands-down favorite brand, but consistently over the years, they've delivered some really good pieces. I continue to shop there for my activewear and casual clothing. If there is another affordable activewear brand you would like to see, please drop it in the comments below. And while you're at it, give this video a like, subscribe, and a follow. It really helps me out. I will certainly be posting some more activewear reviews, but I will also be posting some health, wellness, and lifestyle content. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.